Mark.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where are you from?
USA, Minnesota.
Okay, so you are a native English speaker.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a few questions about education, culture different from Western and Eastern.
Okay.
For you,
I'm good. First question. What is your usual school hours?
Well, like I was saying, I hadn't been a student for a really long time, but I believe they still go from about 8 in the morning till 3 p.m. That, so was that 8 hours of lunch?
So, second question. When you were in high school,
Yes.
what was your daily life like at school?
Well, we'd have classes about an hour each. We'd go about 4 hours, and then we'd have lunch, and then it was about an hour, and then we'd have 3 more classes or something like that. And I did extracurricular stuff like sports, part of the time, so that'd be another couple hours. I don't know what else you'd like to know, but that's a school day. We moved from class, I think just like you guys, moved from classroom to classroom for each subject. And you'd have required classes and elective classes. So most people would take a foreign language, usually it's Spanish there, but I took German, and then you'd have sciences, chemistry and biology and physics. Math was required, English was required.
How long does a class usually last at your school?
I think it was like probably 50 minutes, 50, and then you get 10 in between to get to your next class.
15.
Yeah, I think something like that.
When is the end of get out class?
End of what?
When is the end of get out of class?
We get done at about 3. I think we still do.
What do you usually do after class?
Like I said, often I was doing sports, and that'd start, like 3:30 or something, and go till 5:36. Yeah. If I wasn't doing sports, I'd just go home and goof off. I don't think we study like you guys do.
We study for a very long
I
time.
don't study at all. In high school, I didn't study a bit. I was a terrible student. All right.
Hi, I'm Rola.
Nice to meet you.
Can you introduce your school club culture?
My school culture?
Club culture.
Club culture. Ah, boy. So, we didn't have a lot of clubs, but if you were interested in business, I think there was a business kind of club. And if you were interested in, the sports, but that's not really clubs. And, not a lot of, 4-H was a school, kind of a farming club for some of the kids. And FFA was a club, Future Farmers of America. I'm from a rural community, and there was quite a bit of farming around. So those would be clubs. The clubs aren't big there, really. Oh, sorry.
It's so cool. Can you talk about the most impressive thing happened when you studied in the high school?
Most interesting thing that happened? Oh, impressive thing. I don't remember anything. I don't know. I guess it's because it was many more students than in junior high. I guess that would be impressive for a person.
What are the subjects taught in school?
Okay, I was sort of rambling on about that before. So, English could be literature, American literature, or English literature, or world literature. There was some kind of social studies, which would be government, or history, or I guess social studies. There would be math, which wasn't like your math, but it was like algebra and geometry, and I think you can still do pre-calculus and calculus if you were really interested in math. And then the sciences, so most of us would take like biology in 10th grade and chemistry maybe, and then physics in senior year. There's earth science in 8th grade before high school. Let me see, so science, math. Oh, and then electives, and then be a language. In high school you could study Spanish, German, French, and Latin. And I studied German, but I didn't know any better.
Are there any subjects that interest you more?
That's any subjects of what?
Are there any subjects that interest you more?
Oh,
Your interest.
yeah. In high school, I was just not interested in anything, but I suppose science. Took that a little bit more serious. Oh, but I was best in English. Yeah.
When you were in school, did you feel a lot of pressure to study?
No. And I didn't.
When you were a student, did you have a lot of homework?
Maybe, but I didn't do it. But I was a student 50 years ago, 5-0, so things have changed now, maybe. But I didn't do any homework. I didn't care.
Next question I want to ask is about the way teachers teaching in Western culture, because in Eastern culture we just learn what people say in a class,
Yeah.
and we won't raise our hand to debate or argue for this topic, because we think that teachers always right. And how about in Western culture?
Well, we have I think it's still the case, less respect for teachers and a lot more freedom to discuss. In fact, probably too much discussion, but it's really fun. And we learn more, from, I'll speak for myself, I learn more from my own reading and from my classmates than most of the time from the teachers. But I'm not sure how it is now.
So when you saw the teacher is wrong, you just raise your hand.
Well, you should do it respectfully. Yeah, you could say, well, I read this or that, and I've done some teaching, and you feel threatened when someone disagrees with you. But if they're right, and then you learn together. And I think it's really that's the whole point of it. You don't want to learn what's not true, So if you work toward that together, I think that's better way. But yeah, I think a lot of students would be willing to raise a different view of something. Yeah.
So the next question is, do you have any impression or maybe stereotype for our Eastern culture, Eastern education culture?
Well, you read things and you see the progress and how hard you guys, Asian students, work, and how, like in California, for a time there was a discussion of whether they need to limit the number of Asian students because there weren't spots for others. I think that's fallen away, but we feel like your work ethic, and maybe it's coming from outside as well as culture, is a lot stronger than ours, for sure. For mine, it's evolved some. I think, I grew up in the 60s, you maybe don't know, 60s and 70s. Nobody cared about anything then, and I was like that. And so I think it's become more pressure now, and probably people are working harder as a rule in American schools too. But you guys often, I think, are much harder working.
Because we think in our culture, our more study pressure is come from our parents.
Yeah.
So will give your children any maybe study pressure?
Mine are all in their 30s now, but I didn't give them a lot of pressure.
So Western parent is more open.
Well, it's it's a generality, and I think there's quite a bit of variation. But the kids don't tolerate it as well. They'll just shut down or ignore you anyway, right? So yeah. But you know, you want to point out about trying to get a good education so you can get a good job, and it's a little harder than it used to be when I was a kid, you know, to get a good job. So it's stress, but not to the point of causing distress in our children needing to watch, I don't think.
So I think that's all the question we China wanted to ask. Thank you.
Oh, we're all done?
Yeah, we're
I
done.
didn't even finish my...
It's fine. We can just maybe chatting and drink our coffee.
So everybody got a chance to ask questions. Yes.
可以停。